Today's adventure begins by looking at the sun rising over Bay Lake. That is Discovery Island, the former Discovery Island, there in the middle of the water. As the recording of this, it is Friday, September 30th, 2022. And I am about to walk my suitcase and backpack over to my car and check out of my room next to Bay Lake Tower, next to the Contemporary Resort. It's all co-joined as one property. Heading home later, but first popping into Magic Kingdom for early entry for the first day back that the parks have reopened here at Walt Disney World after the hurricane. Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here. It's early, I could use a little bit of coffee, piping hot caffeinated beverage. Gonna do that now, head over. I have never done an early entry at a hotel stay here at the parks before. Should be interesting and kind of coordinates with the reopenings. Join me. There's a truck. Shall you? Now opted for Joffrey's here on the ground level of the Contemporary because we figured Starbucks over in the parks would be kind of busy. Also, reveal. You look tired.
That's kind of a Joffrey's reaction face. I think it's a little harsh. But yes, I am.
Your team Starbucks?
All the way.
Oh wow, I'm team Joffrey's. Why are we friends?
We're the Hatfield McCoys.
And the current time, about 7:35. This early entry is at 8 a.m. And the park opens at 10 a.m. Got my bags in the car, caffeinated and heading over. And honestly, there's more people over here than I had expected. Yeah, looks like the front gate's there, a little full. Yes, it is quite a crowded front gate experience over here. Just look at how many people are lined up waiting for rope drop. And this is all hotel early entry. This is not even the normal 10 a.m. crowds. Yes, note to self, never assume that when you see something called early entry, that it's going to be empty. It's not always the case.
No, I don't know that for a fact, but possibly. Come up here for me, please. Want to use that one? Thank you.
Thank you. Boy.
That system is unbelievable.
I didn't have to use my finger. All right, heading in. Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy. And have made it in. It's about 8:03 a.m., give or take, into the front hub here.
Hi.
Hey. We're in here. And a nice little view here of the partner statue. Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse, the partners here in front of the Walt Disney World Castle. Now this area here is relatively empty at the moment because the crowds are being funneled over through Tomorrowland. Everyone for early entry has to go over that way. So I took this opportunity to kind of have an empty courtyard here in front of the castle. You gotta love it. Now while standing here in front of the castle, I was not expecting it, and kind of everyone's lined up to get on the rides over through the kind of funneling area, but the characters are coming out. Not only Mickey and Minnie, but a whole cast of characters come out and they're dancing in front of the 50th anniversary decorated castle, which is pretty freaking awesome. I was not expecting that, especially not expecting to have hardly anybody up front in front of Mickey and Minnie. So I got a kind of a first-hand look, a little peek right up at the very front, while everybody else is kind of waiting in line. So now I'm gonna go get my early entry wristband and head in the park. Okay, now heading over into this line. So it kind of circulates over here next to the hub grass. Over here you get a wristband and then you head in. It's also very interesting. They did like a little music for the opening ceremony kind of deal, but other than that, it's pretty quiet over here in the front hub, more or less. Definitely a lot quieter than it would be after 10 a.m. It's kind of a nice, peaceful rope drop, early entry rope drop vibe. And we were kind of discussing what we wanted to do as far as a game plan. The only thing I really want to get on is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and the People Mover over here. You know, there used to be a boat dock right here.
Really?
There was a boat dock right here, and it was kind of in this
Would it
area.
take you around the water?
Yeah, you could get up here and you could go through the little waterway. Don't quote me on this, but I believe it was right here, or maybe over here. But I'm leaning towards it being right here. My bearings are a little off, but I think it was right there.
That sounds like my favorite ride ever. A hub ride?
A hub ride.
Oh my lord.
I kind of figure most people are probably darting over to Mine Train, so game plan kind of sort of just to head through Fantasyland and over to Frontierland, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. There definitely is kind of a cool early entry vibe in here though. It's not gonna last long because once 10 a.m. hits and the crowds show up, it's gonna be a different vibe. Okay, we were just told that Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, everything over in this area will be closed off until the rides, as far as rides and attractions, will be closed until 10 a.m. So I guess early entry really is just kind of Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. I'm just gonna stroll through though. Okay, this is worth walking over here though. Now Country Bear Jamboree and Aladdin's Magic Carpets is open, but this is cool just walking through here. This is quite the vibe right here.
This is my favorite ride.
Now,
Empty park?
To use your terminology, you're a vibe crusher, not a ride crusher.
That's right.
So you must be in heaven right now.
This is my favorite ride.
And the favorite ride is not getting on a ride?
That's right.
Look how empty this is. This is amazing. Quiet, serene, peaceful. Rope drop. Take a look at that. Well, I can hear a siren, which is interesting. But take a look at all the cast members over here. All lined up, ready for the opening. There's a squirrel going by. It'd be kind of neat if they just opened it. Because everyone's over in Tomorrowland. Check it out. Lined up over at Frontierland. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Couple more guests walking over here. It's very weird to hear a siren over here too. And then Splash Mountain. And that's probably why there is music playing. That way you cannot hear anything outside of the park. I don't think I've ever heard an outside the park siren. Obviously backstage. This is really cool. Liberty Bell going by, no one on it, just doing a lap without anyone. I'm gonna walk over to Big Thunder and just see if the ride is open. They were testing it. I think it might be open now. If so, it'll just be me and Bricky as the only ones on it. So everyone else is over in Fantasyland, Tomorrowland. It is definitely an added feel that there is no house music on at all. Walk over towards Pirates. I'm kind of liking this a lot. I mean, you could ride rides anytime, but you really can't get this sort of experience any other time. Quiet, peaceful, walking or strolling around in the morning. Also, back in the day, I remember this in the 90s, early 2000s maybe, late 90s, mid 90s. This was a McDonald's fry stand. There is a skeleton up in the crow's nest up there, and this is the time over here. 20 minutes until 9 a.m. 20 minutes till 9 a.m. So it's 8:40 right now. Oh, he wants some popcorn.
Stay out of there.
You want some popcorn? You want some popcorn there, squirrel? Just soaking this in because this is usually packed with people. And obviously, judging by the amount of people who are walking in, there definitely a lot of people in here. It's just no one over in this area. So really, it's not like there's a lack of crowds. They're just all shifted to a different area of the park because the attractions over here, with the exception of Genie behind me, are not open yet. And word gets around pretty quick. 5-minute wait, but there's already kind of a lot of people kind of started running over here. the very back. You bastard. Hello, goat. Oh my gosh. Always faster in the back. I always like being in the very back. You can kind of whipped around a little bit more. Through the dinosaur bones. Right there. Nice. Oh my Lord. Stop. It's now 9 a.m., so still another hour of the early entry, going past Sleepy Hollow refreshments, looking at the castle from this angle. I think maybe head over into some of the other lands now. And now over into Tomorrowland, the Astro Orbiter going around. Nice little sunburst there for effect. I always enjoy these metal trees that are right here. So they're like palm trees, but they're made out of metal. Also, we were gonna go on the People Mover, but People Mover right now is either broken down or it hasn't opened quite yet either. I do hear Tomorrowland Speedway off in the distance. I believe the Autopia East is running. 55 minutes for Space Mountain. Don't want to get in that line, don't want to kind of eat up the time for the early morning thing. The cool ship. Some say, I am one of the ones that say, that this is the screen used prop, one of the 2 spaceships from Fly the Navigator, the 1980s film. Some say it isn't, some say it is. I am team, it is. Thirst Rangers. You know, they added a little front on over here. They added the little rockets upon the back, but if you look at the shape of the ship, I'm 99.99999% that this is one of the 2 that was used. Just side note, I've stated it before, but I just wanted to reiterate it. I'm pretty confident it is. Passing by Mine Train. Woo! Storybook Circus. Look at this. Look at this up here, the little squirting flower up top there. World famous clowns, this says. Sometimes they have the water effects on over here, and it's like difficult to walk through here without getting soaking wet. There's the giraffes. I haven't seen the water back on over here in a while though. Still no word on when the train station will reopen. They kind of hinted at D23 it would be spring of 2023 when Tron would open, but no word. I also like this too because it says Carrollwood Park. Carrollwood was the road where Walt's barn was and his miniature train was. Now it's located in Griffith Park. So it's kind of a nice little touch up there on the clock. Also the clock says 9:25, so 35 minutes left of early entry. It has been years since this train has done the Grand Circle tour around Magic Kingdom here in Florida, Florida's Magic Kingdom. Now there were some rumors, speculations that possibly Tron would open for Epcot's 40th, which is, as a recording of this, tomorrow. Not happening though, according to Josh DeMar's announcements at D23. I gotta ask your opinion on something really quick.
Yeah, what's that?
So, did you think that Tron was gonna open this month, this year, or were you expecting it to open when they announced it to open?
I was shocked that they didn't at least give a date inside of 2022. But if you think about it, it makes sense because everybody who's already booked a trip for 22 has it in the calendar. So put it on 23, it's a whole new wave of marketing and bookings for the park. So it's a marketing move.
Makes sense. When the train finally opens, you need to come back here. The Trainiac needs to go full WDW.
I've never ever rode the train out on the East Coast. Maybe the Florida Gaming Commission will approve me to do a stunt in the state of Florida.
And now time for the People Mover. It is open and gonna go around Tomorrowland above a little bird's eye perspective. Well, upper perspective. All right, change of plans. The ride just went down, so we're gonna step out of line and not do People Mover today. And now over into the Emporium with the 50th kind of winding down. It's hard to believe it's been 1 year since the 50th anniversary of last year. It's kind of hard to believe that, you know, time just definitely goes by very quick. Kind of like this backpack. I do have a DVC backpack, but this is kind of a nice DVC member backpack too. Also these socks down here. I don't know when I'm gonna kind of go in and eventually get the Dapper Mickey 50th shirt, but one of these days. Kind of like this too. This polo shirt has Mickey here in front of the castle. The specialty ears, collared shirts. Also this hoodie down here. Yeah. One day I'm gonna get some 50th merch. And over inside the Main Street Cinema, it looks like they also have some retro merch here as well. This even says, you know, opening 1971. You got some shoes over here, sweatshirts and whatnot. Some good merch. Definitely like all the classic 71 stuff that they have in here. The sweatshirt too.
Look at the sleeve. It's got a old school pennant going down the sleeve.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's great.
Even Vans has their own little line here with Mickey kind of painting on the side of the shirt. Even the baseball style ringer here, well not baseball style, but the ringer style. And these like kind of retro looking hats here with the emblem on the side. Old WDW actually. Classic Mickey over here. I don't even know if they'd have this in my size. This looks like it's around the back. Okay, yeah, this is the front. So that's the front, and this is, so it's a back design. Okay, this is the front of this, and then this is the back of this. It's kind of interesting. I thought maybe they would only have the one with the front design, but when you spin it around, it is two-sided. I really like this. I don't know if I like that on the back. I'm not much of a back design guy, but I don't know, this is pretty dang cool with the cast of characters on the back there. And now making my way back over to the contemporary Bay Lake parking lot to get my car and make my way back home, check on my place in Celebration, Florida, as the monorail goes by. A quick few hours in the morning. Magic Kingdom for early entry. It's not even quite noon yet. And another one going by. There goes the monorail. Made it back home now, over to Celebration. It's getting a little later in the evening now. I spent some time inside just, you know, relaxing and doing some things around the house, unpacking and whatnot. But no broken windows, no standing water that crept through the door or anything like that. So good to go. Pretty thankful I did not sustain any damage to my place. Pretty much looks like, outside of maybe a little flooding that has since dried up, mostly just a lot of fallen leaves and branches that have, you know, kind of fell from the trees and whatnot. All right, so yeah, the lake is a little higher than normal. So this, I've never seen water up on this where the chairs right there are. Because usually every time I walk right down to the edge of Lake Reinhardt, it's right here. This is usually where I walk down to. I've never seen the lake this high up before. That's very interesting. Take a look at that. So the rocking chairs are all kind of in the water there. Definitely got some serious rain through here. Now the coast definitely get a lot more of the impact of hurricanes. My family moved here in '91, and I haven't been through each and every hurricane because I live in California through a couple of them, but I've been through a lot of the hurricanes here. Oh, is the lighthouse on? Or is it just, oh no, you know what it is? So the sun that's setting is reflecting off the spinning Bohemian Hotel signage over there, which is kind of giving a little bit of a faint light. There it is, see it right there? Very interesting. So a lot of people who do evacuate from the coast come over to Central Florida, so it never gets it as bad as the coast. The coast definitely takes the brunt, either the east coast of Florida or the west coast. And this time it was the west coast of Florida hitting in Fort Myers. So Celebration, Orlando, Central Florida definitely did not get it as as anywhere near as intense as the shoreline did. But there definitely are some telltale signs that the storm came through. And the fountain is off right now. You got the Walt Disney World here. Shows how far it is to Boston as the crow flies, that is. Cape Canaveral, Kissimmee, Miami. Sometimes this is on, but they have it off right now. Right here in the water, Howard, standing strong. Well, swimming strong. Howard is the little decoy duck, affectionately named, you know, because of the movie Howard the Duck. No correlation to the film, but other than the name. Not a real duck. It's a decoy duck stuck on a pipe. Never moves. Even strong winds, still in the same spot. Now it does look like a structure here got ripped down. It used to be like a kind of a gazebo type thing that went over these parking spots. You could see where the wood was wedged in the ground, and now it's all over here in this dumpster. They cleaned it up pretty quick though. All right, here is a little youthful gator coming really close to the shore. Never seen this one before. This is a new one. It is coming up really close to the shore. I mean, it's just right there. Also, over here you can see the bike path and walking trail. Yeah, take a look. This sidewalk here usually goes all the way through the woods. I've rode my scooter and my bike and walked that many times. But it is completely submerged, obviously. So all the swamp and water over here is flooded up so much, this is completely engulfed in water now. Okay, this is the first piece of like, oh my gosh, there's a gator right there. Holy crap. Yeah, okay, there's gators everywhere. Sorry to disturb you, gator. Holy goodness, that thing really startled me. Okay, I was just talking to a couple people and they were saying that there's been some gators in the streets walking around too. It's interesting though, where you see these picnic tables are underwater as well. But it's interesting because, you know, I've walked around Lake Reinhardt many times and I've only seen 2 gators. But because over here, you know, the swamps are usually back there quite a ways and now they're all the way up here. There's a lot more appearing. It's kind of interesting. Some of the lights are working, some of them aren't. You know, it's spelling out celebration, but some of them have little blue boxes around them and some of the blue boxes are either burnt out or been removed. And the marquee's empty because the theater hasn't been open in like a decade. And that's gonna do it for today. Started off at the Contemporary this morning, checked out of the hotel I was in for 2 nights. Went to the reopening of Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom, early entry because of being staying in the hotel, getting the early entry, which is kind of nice, being there 2 hours early. I'm not sure if it's usually 2 hours early. I always thought it was an hour, maybe because of the storm and because the parks were closed for 2 straight days. They added an extra hour on. Instead of going and heading towards the rides, I just kind of walked around Frontierland, Adventureland, did Big Thunder naturally, and then kind of dipped out of there at a decent hour before noon. Back over here, relaxed a little bit, checked on my place, and now ended up the evening walking around, just checking on and see how Celebration fared during the storm. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.